Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and yes, I'm back. I know, it's been ages. But to those who don't know, because I don't actually even think I brought this up yet, but I don't even know if any of you even knew I had a car. I don't even know if I really posted much about that, but I did. But there was a few things wrong with it, like corrosion, and yeah, there was a lot of things underneath wrong with the car because of the corrosion. And it basically just meant that it wasn't structurally safe because it was very corroded and weak. And that car was a 2003 Toyota Yaris, but it was the top spec of the time, so it had like a sunroof, alloy wheels, AC. Because you got to think back then that was a good thing to have, and electric mirrors, electric windows, but it obviously had no doors at the back, so it had not really any proper windows. You couldn't even slide them out, which I thought was a bit crazy, but I mean, that's probably what the sunroof was for back then when they didn't really have to add stuff like that. So yeah, since I really like that, but then I've now been told maybe not to buy a car that old again, because yes, I did buy it at midnight, nearly by myself. Thankfully, my friend was with me who knows a bit more to look out for. But obviously, with it being dark, that doesn't really help that much. I mean, we were basically just looking at the basic random things like a few dings and dents and scratches and everything like that, which, thinking back to it, was probably the most stupidest move I've ever pulled, because that could have actually ended up very, very badly. And I'll tell you why that at the end of the video. But the next car I'm thinking of getting, still a Toyota, but from maybe the age of 2010 to 2012. And basically just because I liked my old one, and the Gen 2 hopefully will even be even better. I'm gonna stick maybe to the 1.3 because the 1 litre just feels like it wouldn't even have enough power to move itself along. It will, but just really, really slowly. I mean, even obviously the 1.3 isn't like a Lamborghini. It's not gonna go 0 to 60 in like 2.5 seconds. It is probably going to be about 12 or maybe even 13, but the 1 litre, you're talking about nearly 16 seconds, 0 to 60, so yeah, even for a learner, that's probably going to feel quite slow. But yeah, um, but I've seen a manual one that did 130,000 miles for 2 grand, and obviously it's like 15 years old now, and it's a manual. It wasn't even an auto, so it had no reason to be that expensive, especially not for that kind of mileage, because I know auto ones usually are a bit more expensive. So if it was for one of them, even then, for that kind of mileage, even an auto car shouldn't be worth that much. 2 grand and 130,000 miles is insane. The first time I looked at it, I thought it said 120,000, but then I looked at it again and thought, shit, that's even worse. But yeah, going back to the story before of my car, and I was going to say fasten your seatbelts, but that's a bit of an innuendo, really. Yeah, when it went in for its MOT, the brakes, like, brake pipe bursted or something. But, I don't know, my friend said this to me, so I'm going to blame my friend if it was wrong. Sorry, friend, if you're watching. But I'm pretty sure everyone else can agree with this, but when we went back to the scrapyard, like, well, a month after all this happened, we went in the car, and then he was like pumping the brakes, and we were both thinking, if that thing bursts like that, then wouldn't that brake pedal just be like going to the floor? But even I had to go at it, and it was even doing that thing where it like stiffens up a few pressures, obviously when the engine's not on. But yeah, it was quite a sight, because someone took the lights out of it, the battery, and so far, I think that's all they've taken. But yeah, I did literally put new tyres on it and new wheels, so I'm surprised no one's took like the tyres and the wheels because they're in amazing condition. The boot struts I literally replaced as well. I bought a new parcel shelf for it, and I put new bulbs in it, but I'm not too bothered about the bulbs because they're only like £2 or something. And to be honest, I did also get a hell of a lot more use out of them. We are talking like the boot strut literally got replaced like 2 weeks before. And another thing is that I forgot to mention, this video is going to be a bit longer than I was hoping it would be, but the only reason I took it in for its MOT early is because one of the struts started to make a horrible knocking noise when I was driving. All of a sudden it was like, I couldn't really feel it that much, but I could definitely hear it. It was at first quite a mild noise, and I was in the car with my nan, and I was like, can you hear that? And she was like, no. I was like, it was just me. It was something in the boot, no idea. Went up the road a bit more, and even though I was going over bumps that weren't even really bumps and shouldn't have even been doing that, literally it was like properly loud knocking. Imagine knocking on like something made out of wood, and it was like doo, 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 with like really loud knocks. But then you could be thinking, the road looks smooth as hell, but obviously the shock absorber is absorbing things that you probably can't even see. So it's not just the suspension doing all the work, it's also the shock absorbers and the suspension, basically to stop the car from bouncing continuously. It's only supposed to bounce like twice or maybe 3 times, but it's not supposed to bounce like 10. But another weird thing is as well, that car was like had a mind of its own. But when I parked it back up and went back out to it after, I opened the boot and then pressed down on it a few times, and it looked like it was just doing like 3 bounces, so it looked fine. And I couldn't really hear the noise when I was just doing it like that, so it was really concerning. And there was a lot of stuff wrong with that car, to the point where I was thinking, how did I keep that on the road without crashing? I don't know. But anyway, that was a little update. Scary as hell thinking back to it, yeah, I know. But yeah, thanks for watching.